Oh yeah, hey. So I went to a flea market the other day and I got a couple things. I got a cassette deck and a wire recorder and a bunch of old advertisements. And I thought today let's look at the advertisements. Look at these boys. So I've got a whole stack of them. I already leafed through them to make sure that it's only advertisements. When I leafed through them at the flea market, there was actually some lascivious material in here, and I didn't buy that. That's out. I took that out before I bought it. So here's a bunch of old advertisements for radios. A lot of them have years on them, as well as prices. So I thought it might also be fun to say like, oh, look, 1947, 1995. What is that in today's dollars? So I also have an inflation calculator pulled up on the computer over here. So starting out, Philco radio. Looks like this. I lied. I saw a number. It's not a date. It's a model number. The Philco 1213 radio phonograph. Advanced FM. Some stuff on the back. Yeah, these are all wrapped in plastic, so, I'm touching them with my grubby mitts. I'm touching the plastic with my grubby mitts, not the actual ads. All right, here we go. So this 1948 Emerson radios at 1939 prices. Now, I'm just curious, what does inflation look like just between those 2 years? So let's say 1939 to 1948, and the price is 1995. So we're just going to round up to $20. So $20 in 1939 would be equivalent to $35 in 1948. But now, because this appears to be dated 1947, October 4th, 1947, right up there, let's run some of these prices. So 1947 to today, just to give you an idea for how much some of these, like this was the entertainment in the day. So how much some of these were worth. So about $20 there in 1947 would be worth $286 today. Down here we've got one that's $30 for a radio. So that $30 radio, that's $430. I'm rounding a little bit because I don't want to read a ton of decimals. Here we've got an Emerson Phono radio. It appears to be a radio and a record player for $90 dues. In today money, that is $1,288. Wowza. Nothing on the back of that one. Okay. We got Atwater Kent from this one's, it says 1927 there, but the date here is 1934, so that's the one we're going with. We got some prices. All Wave model 112S directly above. So I would assume that would be this tall guy here because there's 4 prices listed. Then model 559N at left above, model 206 at front in left, model 944 at front on right, a bunch of tube radios. So just looking at, we'll just start from the bottom. So this little guy, 2250 in 1934 would be about $525 today. Looking at that one, $49.90 from 1934 to today. That's about $1,163. $119.50 in 1934 money. That's for this guy over here. Would be worth about $2,786. And this last one over here in 1934 would have sold for $180, a bit of a luxury item. Today that would cost $4,197. Oh boy. And down here it says, so shortwave broadcasting in a foreign country adds a thrill to radio you don't want to miss. More advertisement, more advertisement, more advertisement. And then at the end, prices range from $22.50, so it'd be this little guy. No, this little guy, to $240. And it says subject to change without notice. So looks like the $240 one isn't pictured on the front here, but just for the heck of it, if you were to get a radio that in 1934 would cost $240, as stated down here, today that would run you about $5,596, so about $5,600. Nothing on the back here. All right, next. Some Philco radios from 1948. I'm looking somewhere on here to see if it can verify that date, because some of these dates on the sticky notes are not correct. I don't see anything. So, oh, and there's stuff on the back of this one. Philco 11 tube. Unbalanced radio and balanced radio. Oh, the illustration is meant to... So this is your unbalanced radio and this is your balanced radio. This picture is slightly distorted. This picture isn't distorted. They're trying to tell you that your signal is slightly distorted on an unbalanced radio. So they were selling you what they call a balanced radio. And they have some prices right down here. You can get an 11 tube Lowboy as illustrated, which I guess would be that guy. I guess that's the 11 tube Lowboy. We need to start calling radios Lowboys again. I think that's good. There's an 11 tube Highboy as well, and the most expensive one on here is a radio phonograph with automatic record changer, complete with tubes. Would run you about $295 in... Oh no, there is a date on this one, 1931. Which today would be about $5,700 for a radio and a phonograph. I think these are two different ads, this one and then the one on the back. This one I think just looks really cool. Majestic, mighty power reveals the colorful beauty of each blending voice. So... Grigsby Grunow Company out of Chicago. They're advertising a colorful tone. I don't see any prices or any years on this one. Yeah, I see. Okay. Here we go. Atwater, Kent from 1928. November 24th, 1928. So we got... looks like a speaker and a radio. Oh yeah, because sometimes the speaker was separate from the radios. That's... Yeah, there you go. So there's your speaker on its own. And there's, looks like a different radio. Well, that one says 1928. These are... Yeah, November 24th, 1928, October 27th, 1928. These are different copies of the Saturday Evening Post. It looks like there might be some more sheets kind of within this. I don't really want to open these up right now. I might later, but not right now. Okay. Howie made Dad do the second smartest thing in his life. Cool. And then they tell the story of how they sold their dad on a radio. They said, "Don't hurry me into this," Dad would say every time Mom and I started talking about a new radio. So we got our heads together and decided to tempt him a little. One Saturday afternoon, we maneuvered him to the Strongberg Carlson dealer and made him stop. "Will you just look? Did you ever see such beautiful cabinets?" exclaimed Mom. "Can't you just imagine, Doug? Imagine, Doug, what one of them would do for our living room? And as the salesman proudly showed Dad what was inside the cabinet, you could see his resistance beginning to melt. Then the real payoff came. Listen, cried Dad as we played a record of a Strauss waltz. It sounds as if that orchestra was right here in the room. I mean, by today's standards, not very good. But, back in the day, these were a hot commodity. So, let's see. This one says 1948 up there, and it also says 1948 way down there. And we've got some prices, radio phonograph combinations from $199.50 to $625, table models from $34.95, slightly higher in the south and west. That would probably be this. That means this is somewhere in the east. New York, yep, and Toronto. So yeah, Rochester, New York, and Toronto, Canada. So that's why the prices would be slightly higher in the south and west, because they would have to ship them out to you. Presumably. That's my assumption anyway. So let's see. Radio phonograph combinations. $199.50. So how much would that cost me? And the year is 1948. $199.50 would be the same as $2,590. The high-end version, I would assume, is what they're referring to when they say the one that costs $625, which in today money would be about $8,000, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money for a radio. Okay, the ideal gift. The new 1949 Emerson radio. Yep. Okay, so some AM radios looks like. This one's got a record player in it. That one's kind of cool. It's a radio, and then you can put a picture in it, and it looks like it kind of closes like a little box. That's cool. This is a little portable one. Almost looks like it's built into a lunch pail, which is very cool. Yeah, there you go. We just ran prices from 1948, so I don't feel like I need to run them from 1949. Expensive. Okay. That says 1925 right there. Saturday Evening Post. I think this is another one where it's got multiple pages of the Saturday Evening Post, and they just put the radio one on top. The Colster 8 pictured above is one of 4 beautiful models, of which there are 2 8s and 2 6s. Each is housed in a cabinet of rare charm, designed by leading authorities. A pleasure to the eye as well to the ear. Very cool. All right. Philco says 1946. That says 1946. Very cool. Yeah, I mean, it's a Philco radio. It almost looks like a drawer mechanism that you slide your record into. So that's interesting. Says the sensational 1201. The new way to play records. Just put any record in the slot, close the door, and it plays automatically. No more bother with lids, controls, tone arms, or needles. For students or grown-ups, it's the radio phonograph sensation of 1946, and only Philco has it. So that's a really cool automatic record player design. Yeah, that's neat. All right, another Saturday Evening Post, 1948. Portable radio for $19.95. We'll just round that up to $20. In 1948, about $260 for that little guy. And a lot of these, that appears to be that's the cheapest one. $12.95, $14.95, $19.95, $19.95, $69.95, and $39.95. There's a little asterisk over here by the price that says slightly higher in Zone 2. I'm not sure what that means. That might be some sort of shipping thing as well. I'm not quite sure. But I do like the idea that you're going out canoeing and taking your little radio with you. That's very good. Alrighty. Another Saturday Morning Post from Chicago. We've got radio, TV, radio. This one says it has a phonograph in it too. And in this tiny picture, you can see this left side opens up. Looks like it has legs with it too. Whoa, okay. These those two ads. Cool. Two of the same ad. Yeah, okay, that's cool. Bunch of tube radios and TVs. Very cool, very cool. Little Music Men up there. Very good. Thank you. Awesome. All right, Westinghouse radio. 1946 maybe? Yep, 1946 Westinghouse radios. That appears to have a record player in it. Yep, the lid opens, and according to this, the radio in the front actually lifts out as well, and it's portable, which is that's kind of a cool feature. Seems a little gimmicky, but you know, whatever. Okay, here we've got more portable radio ads. Appears to be pretty similar to the last one, also from 1948. The difference is this one has an iron on it, which is pretty cool, and it looks like a waffle iron, but it says it grills, fries, bakes, and toasts. So I don't know. It's like an all-in-one kind of thing, and that's. I'm not sure what that is. Okay. This one looks pretty old. 1927, December 1927. Here we go. Model 57, 7-tube receiver single dial. It says built-in reproducer, so it must... Yeah, wired for battery or socket power operation. Okay. And it is marked for $340. So, morbid curiosity, here we go. $340 in 1927 would run you $5,979.90. So about $6,000 for that guy. That's intense. That appears to be the most expensive thing on here. There's a couple others over here. The Model 76 with a built-in speaker is $195, or you can get it without the built-in speaker, only cost you $175. Little tabletop radio, there you go. And that appears to be an ad for motor oil, Texaco motor oil. Very cool. All right, Atwater Kent, 1936. Radio that passes you through the forbidden door. Control room reception at your fingertips. Wowee. Oh, this is cool. It's got the little horn-shaped speaker. I don't know what those are called. You have the right to know. Before you buy a radio, be sure to demand a direct answer to every one of these questions. Is the product right? Is the manufacturer reliable? Is the complete radio made by one manufacturer? Can I get good service when I want it? Will this set be obsolete in a year or two? Etc. And they have, Model 300, that's that radio. Model 400 is the speaker. And it says it costs $25. And then they have all of their console radios down here. The most expensive, running you $450, which in 1926 would be about $7,737 for that little reproducer speaker. Cost $25 back then, so adjusted for inflation, that would be about $430. Okay, here we got some Brunswick. I think it's just a radio. Appears to be a radio from 1927. A lot of these seem to be from a couple of clusters of years. The 1926, 1927 has a little cluster, and there's a little 1948 cluster that keeps popping up. This one, I don't see a year. Oh, hello. 1930 on the back there. General Electric full range radio. Very cool. Less tubes. I want more tubes. All right, 1948 Philco, more portable radios. Very cool. More portable radios from 1948. AC/DC battery portable. Play it anywhere. Sentinel Radio out of Illinois. They are kind of cool looking. I like the red design. That's very good. That's very cool. Okay, now there's some small ones. AC6 radio. I don't see a year on this one. That's too bad. Would have liked to know. A radiola. I think that was RCA. Yep, Radio Corporation of America. There's a radiola for every house. Everything except batteries. $425. I don't see a year on this one either. Oh well. Another radiola, an RCA product. Radiola Super 8. They say 1925. Yeah, 1925. So that'd probably be your year here. Here's another radio with a very fancy man tuning it. Very good. All right. Smaller than a phone, performs like a console radio. Right, because they had all the big old phones back then. 1947. We saw that in another ad. We saw this in another ad too. I think we saw several of these in another ad. So that's neat. Nothing on the back. Moving on. Okay, here we go. This looks old. Can I get a year, Philco? I don't see a year. Here's something. Philco makes a complete line of automatic tuning models with the inclined control panel. So that's what they're talking about here. The control panel, instead of just being straight up with the radio, is slightly reclined, so you don't have to do what this poor lady's doing. Your present radio may be traded in as part payment, or you can buy a double X Philco for as little as $7.95 down and about $1 a week. I would love to know what year it is, because I want to know how much $1 a week, what that translates to now. This says 1938. I don't see a year on the ad, so I'm going to trust that that's probably correct. So 1938, $1, what did it say? $1 a month? $1 a week would be today $21.68 a week. So about $22 a week to pay off your radio. I don't know. I mean, that's not horrible. I guess there isn't really a market for as much of a market for these radios anymore, but that doesn't seem awful, I guess. Here we go. $12 down, 8 months to pay. It's an airline radio. That might be the big speaker on top. I can't tell for sure. It says pilot light. Dial readings are illuminated from behind only when set is turned on. This warns you to turn set off when you finish listening in. That's cool. That's a selling point for them. Okay, so Montgomery Ward. It says the fall and winter catalog 27-28. And just a ton of ads with prices over here. So that would have been 1927. Okay. Here's another one. This is probably airline tubes. I'm guessing the same year, probably. 1927. Looking around to see if I can confirm that anywhere without having to read a lot of text. 98 cents for a tube. So on the back it says 1927, so we're gonna go with that. So what, 98 cents for a tube in 1927? That's about $17 now. Woof. Stuart Warner, bunch of prices, stand-up radios. Got some people. Edwin Hill is there. Billy Hill is there. Great time all around. Oh, magic dial on the back of this. There you go. All right. Oh, here's the drawer Philco again. Very cool. Very good. Okay, Christmas gifts, 1931 Philco radios. 7-tube Lazy Boy. It appears to be a radio built into a nightstand. That is very cool. I have something kind of like that that I got from my grandfather, and it belonged to his wife, or my grandmother got it when she was younger because I believe it was her parents who owned a furniture store in Milwaukee, maybe. That might not be right. I might be misremembering some details. But if you were to get this boy now, $69.50, it would cost you about $1,345. And a 7-tube grandfather clock radio. I want one of those. That's really cool. It's a grandfather clock and a radio. And it costs you only $89.50, which today is about $1,700. Oh, here's the same balanced Philco, unbalanced Philco. They distort the picture. See, visual by our radios, you know. RCA Radiotrons. Always in every socket. They're just selling tubes here. We only use the finest tubes. In 1928. More tube advertisement. Yeah, and like worn out tubes. Better tubes. Buy our better tubes. This appears to be freezers made by Philco. Using Alice in Wonderland characters for the advertisement. Very good. The Mad Hatter says it's a wonderful refrigerator. Very good. Okay. New Philco radios. Philco with wireless remote control. Interesting. What year is this? Wireless remote control. This is 1940. Okay, sure. A new version of the world's most thrilling radio, 12 tubes, American and foreign reception, built-in super aerial system, plus wireless remote control of favorite stations, magnificent inclined sounding board cabinet of costly walnut woods. Walnut is capitalized, I'm not sure why. With folding lid that covers the inclined control panel. That's probably the folding lid right there. Liberal trade-in allowance and easy terms. Very cool. This looks old. Another copy of the Saturday Evening Post. Radio battery. Every Radio B battery has internal resistance, but the lower this resistance can be held, the better is the effect on radio reception. Any electrical engineer will tell you that low internal resistance gives best results in tone quality. Okay. I don't see a year on this one. This looks very old. Uh, 1948 radios. It's a table. That appears to be an egg incubator. I don't know if that was supposed to end up in this pile. Emerson radio. I feel like we already saw something similar to this. Portable radio, looks like a lunch pail. Lid lifts up. There's a TV in this one. That's cool. Radios, portable radios. Mitchell, guarantee, 1955. Here we have some sort of... Oh, wait, actually, that's really cool. Hold on. So it's a light that you put above your bed, and it has a radio built into it. So you have a radio right above your head. That's really cool, actually. I like that. And that clock is very cool. It can also turn on appliances. Very cool. I like this stuff. This is good stuff. Another Atwater Kent radio ad. Somebody wrote 1929 down there. Here we've got the new GE radio. Big radio. And last but not least, Atwater Kent radio. from 1926. A lot of the same speakers we saw before. Old ads.